style attractive anymore. Like, I think, for me, this is only my taste, but I think the Doctor is more attractive when her hair is down and not 80s up,
Yeah.
you know? Patrick Swayze the other way around, though. His hair needs to be up. But she, man, she does it for me, especially back then.
Yeah, and I think, like, going into this, there's a lot of scenes that we can talk about, but we get as far as Dalton surveying the lay of the land, and then we get the first kind of bar fight that happens too.
Mm-hmm.
And not kind of, it is a big bar fight. And Dalton just sitting there, cool as a cucumber. He's seeing who he can trust in this bar and who he can't during this time. And who would back him up, as far as needing the people around him who can handle themselves and who can listen to orders. And so he lets this bar fight take place. We get a lot of, funny bits with the beer bottle. What I found kind of awkward too, or something that I didn't really notice or take into account, was Debbie and the I think it's Pam. I'm sorry, the girl who sings, like, getting under the table. It seems like they have this camaraderie during the initial bar fight, to where they've been, like, they're friends with each other. Which I could see her. She's not a bad person. She's just under Wesley's control, kind of thing.
Yeah.
At this
and she
time.
wants desperately to get out of it.
Yeah. And but that's kind of something that's always stuck to me, is seeing, like, oh, we're under a table, like, just the two girls just trying to make it, kind of thing. But during this time, we get Dalton surveying the land, and it's still this whole thing of the aftermath too, of the cleanup, and then talking to Tillman again, kind of, okay, we let this take place, and this is what Dalton needs to see for his part. He needs to see something like this take place. And I picture this, like, when I was watching this again, that this has to happen at every bar he goes to, so he can get a lay of the land, kind of thing. And I could also picture him initiating something covertly to start a bar fight to see how people handle themselves too.
Yeah. And he's right. He because the next, like, big meeting, he starts firing people based on what he sees, and he keeps people based on, and this movie, I could probably just recount this movie and have a great time, but I'm going to skip ahead, because one of the next big things that really sticks out to me is Swayze. There's this great scene where he's renting the place from the old man, and he has his. I'm just the idea of time in this movie is interesting to me, because I'm not sure how long he's actually there. I don't know how long he's been in Jasper. But he fires everyone, works that night, everything goes pretty well. Must get off. What's that? That's a 2 a.m. bar, right? I don't know what, maybe a midnight bar?
Yeah, it has to be a 2 a.m. bar, yeah.
And so he closes up, he gets home at what, 4 or 5?
Sure,
maybe?
Yeah.
He gets home, he's reading his book, it must be 5 or 6 a.m. I don't know. Like, and then the party happens with all the people he just fired, and then he goes to bed. Now, if I'm conflating the timeline, that's my bad. But the shitty singing waitress, she brings him coffee, and I guess a bagel. He treats the bagel like it's the worst fucking thing he's ever seen.
That looks like the worst dessert or the worst breakfast food it's like sticky and it's like a donut, one donut.
So she must wake him up because it must be 8 a.m. because he then goes to Red's store before Red gets there. Right. I assume Red opens at 9.
Red's an early guy, yeah.
Right. So what is Dalton sleeping? Like, and why is she going to his house that early?
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, you may hear the dog, but she approaches, she wakes him up, he gets out of bed, bare-assed, and you would have thought that she saw God. She does this audible gasp and eyes. Yeah, like, it's so funny to me. it's just like
I
it's like
always thought that she saw the size of Dalton's dick, and that we don't see that, but she sees this mythical penis that has been talked about. this thing. I've always taken it as that, like, the audience doesn't see that, but that's what she sees. We just see the backside of Dalton. I just took it as like he just has this anaconda just ready to strike at any time kind of thing, where it's just scary to women.
Hold on real quick. Nice stream, Marcus.
Like that? Solid?
Solid sounds healthy.
Okay. Where do you want to pick up from?
I think we got to a good place of the mythological penis and things like that. So we'll just pick up with whatever we want to talk about next, which might be maybe JCPenney or
no. I think first. I think is wait. Does that come before the JCPenney? No, yeah. So first, it's Tinker and the group coming to when Dalton gets cut, because he gets cut, and then all that. So he meets Dr. Clay. And I think that, and then he goes to meet Wesley after that too.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. And I imagine Dalton is the epitome of BDE. Not overconfident. I mean, just confident enough to where you're like, okay, I might not mess with this guy. He knows what he's doing. He's running the place. So yeah, absolutely. And I always thought that was so funny, the fact that she just came up from being underwater for six hours. It's always may someone react like that to my buttocks one day.
So let's, getting out of the penis realm and the Dalton ass realm, I think next I want to talk about is we get a lot of things. We get Dalton getting attacked, getting cut, and meeting Dr. Clay, which happens because Pat, the nephew of Brad Wesley, who has a weak constitution, is in charge, is fired by Dalton, and therefore the liquor and booze have stopped because Wesley apparently has contacts with every distributor across the nation that can just halt the sale of alcohol. And they've come in to either give Pat, to have Tillman give back Pat's job, or to stop the sale of booze. And because of this, Dalton comes in and they're all in the office. And we get the guy who Wesley has on his crew, the tall, bald guy who he's a bleeder, but
what a bitch, man.
He is. But apparently he comes back, like, even after the beatdown that Wesley gets him. Like, he says, get this coward out of here. But then he comes back again later, too.
Yeah. I'm sorry, boss. I mean it.
Yeah. But in this, we get, we see the hold that Wesley has on the town, and especially Tillman as well, in kind of the catch-22. He wants to get rid of the bad people, but he has to keep them around for some reason. And Dalton's putting a stop to this. And in this, a fight breaks out, inevitably. And we get a lot of things. We get Dalton getting cut. And then let's just get to the doctor's office, because here is where we get the find of Dr. Clay, the beautiful Kelly Lynch. But also, if you take a quick second to pause it, you get some information on the medical records of Dalton, and you can see some information too. And it's kind of like where the name we get Dalton James, where we find out his real name. If you pause it, you can see it a little bit on his medical records. You get his address, 140 North 42nd Street, Kansas City, Kansas, which I just wanted to put. So I looked that up, 142nd North 42nd Street, Kansas City, Kansas. And if you put that into Google Maps, there's actually it's a cross-section street in this little, I mean, it's Kansas City, but it's like in this really rural area. And there's a bar there called like Lounge 42. I know it has nothing to do with the movie, and there's no backstory to it, unfortunately, or nothing cool. But it kind of looks, it has that vibe of where the Double Deuce would be too. That address does. And it's this little, it's called Lounge 42. There's no website for it. They do have Facebook page and stuff. I don't know if it's still open. It looks like it is. I just saw where they have a $5 buffet of ziti and Italian food and chicken wings.
Oh, Lord.
But,
that's good eye.
Yeah. But I was looking at that.
So do you think that's his, he must, in the story, he must just have, like, own a residence.
I guess so. And so that's what made me think again. I know that I mentioned that bar, I thought it was California, but I mean, I guess he's quick to update his address in his medical records because he carries them everywhere. But it's just like, I guess that's his new address for the Missouri time being that he's living there.
So maybe he lives on the outskirts of town. Maybe he lives in maybe this is a small suburb of Kansas City.
Yeah.
So the barn is actually in Kansas City, and Jasper maybe is like 20 miles away.
Right.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Because we don't really see any other neighborhoods or houses at all. We see his and we see Wesley's.
Yeah. Because I'm sure he's not putting down his barn as his given address, right? But see, that's what makes me think of that too. It's like, I know we're going into this too much, and there's no there's no conspiracy theory here, or probably Easter eggs as big as this that they were thinking about when they made the movie. But it's still funny that 140 North 42nd Street, that doesn't sound like a barn address. You know, that doesn't sound like where he would be.
I wonder if it's a post office.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if that's his base of operations. So, like, Jasper's not crazy. He knows the area. But who knows? Good catch. I wonder why they would put that address and not put like a P.O. box or something, you know? Yeah.
We also get a date that this time frame, this whole thing is happening. The date is on his check-in. If you pause it again and you're seeing all this information, you can see that it's September 22nd of 1988. So, we're getting into holiday season now. And it's
a little cold outside, a little crisp air.
This is probably Wesley's big time, with taxes going on, the Jasper Community.
Oh my gosh, you're
Fund.
right.
Yeah, this is big time for him. This is big season. But that's just a little fun fact too.
That is fantastic research.
But I think the most fun is just seeing. I remember seeing this again. This is one of the scenes that always stick out to you as a child, or if you were younger watching this movie and still do now, is just like a tough guy is after getting slashed in the ribs, a deep cut that needs, I think, 10 stitches is
9,
what she says. 9? Okay.
9 staples.
Sorry. Yes, 9 staples, sorry. Is that Dalton prefers, no anesthesia, no painkiller. Nothing. He just wants that pain because what, Adam?
Pain don't hurt.
Pain don't hurt. No.
Pain don't hurt. And he just has rib meat hanging out. And she's just like, my God, like, I I cut my hand. I stabbed my hand once. Nothing very cool.